Okay, so you guys have sent us a ton of stuff on Xmail.
Xmail.
Yeah, Elon Musk's rumored email platform.
Oh, wow.
We're talking tech articles, a YouTube video with some industry experts, even some chatter on social media.
Really?
We're going deep to try to figure out if this is just hype or
Okay.
a potential Gmail killer.
That's fascinating to see a possible shakeup in a service that we use every day.
Right.
Gmail's been dominant for so long,
Gmail, yeah,
but Xmail's entry could change the game.
exactly. Maybe you're a Gmail power user.
Right.
Maybe you're just curious about the buzz, whatever your reason. We're breaking down the key points to see if Xmail is the real deal.
Yeah. Our goal is to sift through it all
Yeah.
and see what Xmail could mean for you,
Right.
the email
Yeah, email use. Right, let's jump right in.
Okay.
One of the big things that the articles emphasize is simplicity. Musk apparently wants to ditch Gmail's complexity
Yeah.
and make email feel as easy as texting.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this aligns with a broader trend of digital minimalism.
Okay.
And user-friendly design people are tired of cluttered interfaces.
Yeah.
And they want things to be intuitive and easy to use.
So no more endless menus and folders.
Right.
Just a clean, straightforward way to send and receive messages. That does sound pretty appealing.
Yes. Yeah.
Our age of constant digital overload.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This simplicity seems to be tied to another key theme.
Okay.
Privacy sources suggest that Xmail is positioning itself as the privacy-focused alternative
Privacy.
to Gmail,
Okay.
which is a big deal given the growing concerns about data harvesting.
Yeah, especially with all the talk about targeted ads and data breaches.
Mhm.
Some articles even mention end-to-end encryption as a potential feature,
Mhm.
though that's not confirmed. What is end-to-end encryption and why is that a big deal?
Well, end-to-end encryption essentially means that only the sender and the recipient
Okay.
can read the message to the email provider. In this case, Xmail wouldn't be able to access the content of your emails,
Right.
which adds another layer of security and privacy.
That's pretty significant, especially if you're sending sensitive information.
Exactly. And this privacy push connects to another interesting aspect.
Okay.
Musk's idea of a subscription model for Xmail.
Oh.
If users pay for the service,
Okay.
there's less need for ad revenue, which means less need to collect and monetize user
Yeah, 'cause
data.
that could be a game changer. A paid email service could actually lead to a less ad-driven internet experience.
Yeah,
But is that a realistic business model?
that's the big question.
Can Musk convince enough people to pay for email when we're all so used to getting it for free?
Well, it'll depend on how they position the value proposition.
Yeah.
If they can offer a truly private, secure,
Mm-hmm.
and streamlined email experience,
Right.
it might be attractive to a certain segment of users, especially those who are privacy conscious and willing to pay for a premium service.
All right, so we've got simplicity and privacy, but here's where things get wild. Xmail is supposed to be deeply integrated with the X platform formerly known as Twitter.
I see.
What does that even mean for email?
Well, this is where Musk's vision of a closed ecosystem comes into play.
Okay.
Imagine being able to send emails and direct messages all within the same app, seamlessly switching between different forms of communication.
It sounds like he's trying to build a one-stop shop
Yeah.
for all your communication needs.
Right.
But wouldn't that just create more digital clutter?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah, and keep us glued to our screens even more.
It depends on how well they execute the integration.
Right.
If it's done well, it could actually streamline communication and save people time.
Sure.
But if it's poorly implemented, it could just add another layer of complexity and distraction.
So, a potential double-edged sword.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Now let's move on to the most mysterious and potentially game-changing feature.
Okay.
AI. The sources are pretty vague, just hinting that Xmail will have some AI features.
Interesting.
But what could AI actually do for email?
We're already seeing AI in email with spam filters,
Right.
but Xmail could take it to a whole new level.
Mm.
Imagine an AI that helps you write better emails,
Okay.
prioritizes messages based on importance, and even anticipates your needs.
Like a personal assistant for your inbox.
Exactly.
Could it even draft replies for you?
Potentially, AI-powered writing assistants are already quite advanced.
Yeah.
Imagine getting a suggestion for how to respond to a complex email,
Oh, wow.
or getting a reminder to follow up on an important thread. It could save a lot of time and mental energy.
Okay, that does sound kind of mind-blowing, but how realistic is all this? Is this just hype?
Right.
Or are we really on the cusp of an email revolution?
It's hard to say for sure at this point.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of potential, but also a lot of unknowns.
Right.
We need to see more concrete details about how these AI features will work in practice.
And we also have to consider the potential downsides.
Right.
What about data privacy? How much access would this AI have to our personal information?
That's a crucial question.
E.
AI algorithms need data to learn and improve. So there are legitimate concerns about how user data would be used and protected.
Right.
Striking the right balance between functionality and privacy will be a key challenge for Xmail.
So we've got simplicity, privacy, X platform integration, and AI.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty radical departure from what we're used to with Gmail. But let's not forget, Gmail is a behemoth.
Right.
It's not just about features, it's about user habits. And I think one article called it network effects.
You're right. It's a huge challenge for Xmail.
Yeah.
Gmail has roughly 1.8 billion active users.
Wow.
People are accustomed to Gmail's interface. They have their contacts and accounts linked to it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy to convince them to switch.
What exactly are network effects, though?
Network effects basically mean that a product or service becomes more valuable as more people use it.
Okay.
Think about social media platforms.
Okay.
The more friends you have on a platform, the more valuable it becomes to you. Email works similarly. The more people you can communicate with through a particular email provider, the more useful it is.
So Gmail has a massive advantage just because so many people already use it.
Exactly.
That makes sense, but we can't forget about Microsoft Outlook either.
Right.
The sources mentioned it as another major player in the email space.
Yeah.
Why might some people choose Outlook over Gmail?
Outlook has a strong foothold in the business world.
Okay.
It's known for its robust features, calendar integration, and compatibility with Microsoft Office.
Okay.
Some people find it more powerful than Gmail,
Yeah.
especially for professional use.
So Xmail isn't just going up against Gmail.
Right.
It's competing with a whole ecosystem of established email providers, each with their own strength and loyal user base. That's a tough landscape to break into.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but the brand, the trust factor, and the overall user experience. Musk has a reputation as a disruptor. But can he really pull it off in the email world? That's the million-dollar question.
Well, on that note, let's move on to part 2, where we'll look more closely at the potential impact of Xmail on the email landscape and delve deeper into those ethical considerations around AI. Okay, so we've established that Xmail has some intriguing features.
Right.
And it's aiming to take on the email giants. But even if it launches, what impact could it realistically have on the market?
Well, competition is generally a good thing for consumers.
Okay.
If Xmail starts gaining traction
Right.
with its simplicity, privacy focus, and innovative features,
Yeah.
it could force the big players like Gmail and Outlook to step up their game.
So even if people don't switch to Xmail, it could push the entire email industry forward.
Exactly.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
We're already seeing Google pushing AI features in Gmail.
Oh, really?
Perhaps as a response to the buzz surrounding Xmail competition can lead to faster innovation and better products.
Right.
For everyone.
It's like an email arms race, but instead of weapons, they're fighting with features and user experience.
Right.
But let's zoom out a bit
Okay.
and think about the bigger picture. Could Xmail actually change the way we think about and use email altogether?
It's certainly possible if Xmail's vision of a more integrated,
Okay.
streamlined,
Right.
and AI-powered email experience takes off. It could set a new standard for the industry. Other email providers might start incorporating similar features to stay competitive.
So maybe in a few years, all email will be simpler, more private and AI-driven, regardless of which provider we use. That's a pretty exciting prospect. But what about the potential downsides of all this AI integration?
Right.
We touched on privacy concerns earlier, but are there other risks we should be thinking about?
One concern is the potential for bias in AI algorithms.
Okay.
These algorithms are trained on massive data sets.
Right.
And if those data sets contain biases, the AI can perpetuate and even amplify those biases.
So for example, if the AI is trained on a data set of emails that mostly come from a certain demographic,
It might not be as effective at understanding or responding to emails from people outside of that demographic.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial for companies developing AI-powered email tools
Right.
to ensure that their training data is diverse and representative and that their algorithms are carefully designed to mitigate bias.
And what about the potential for manipulation?
Oh.
I remember reading about how AI could be used to craft emails that are designed to trigger certain emotional responses
Yeah.
or influence our behavior.
Yes, that's a valid concern. As AI gets more sophisticated, we need to be vigilant about the potential for misuse.
Okay.
It's important to develop ethical guidelines and regulations around AI to
Yeah.
ensure that it's used responsibly and transparently.
So it's not all just about cool features and increased efficiency.
Right.
There are some serious ethical implications that we need to grapple with as AI becomes more deeply integrated into our digital lives.
Absolutely. And these aren't easy problems to solve. It requires ongoing dialogue and collaboration.
Yeah. Between tech companies, policymakers, researchers, and the public.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential impact of Xmail on the market and the ethical challenges of AI integration.
Right.
But let's bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
What does all this actually mean for you, the person using email every day?
Well, first of all, it's important to remember that Xmail is still just a concept. We don't know for sure if or when it will launch or what its final form will be.
Right.
So there's no need to panic or make any drastic changes to your email habits right now.
But that doesn't mean we should just sit back and wait.
Right.
This is a good opportunity to start thinking critically about our own email needs and preferences.
Yeah.
Are we happy with our current email provider?
Mm-hmm.
Do we value simplicity and privacy?
Right.
Are we comfortable with the idea of AI playing a bigger role in our inbox?
Those are great questions to consider. And it's not just about choosing the right email provider,
Right.
but also about developing good email habits.
Okay.
Are we using strong passwords? Are we being careful about phishing scams? Are we taking steps to protect our data?
It sounds like this whole Xmail situation, even if it doesn't fully materialize,
Yeah.
is prompting us to think about email in a more intentional and informed way.
Exactly. And that's a positive outcome. Technology is constantly evolving, and we need to evolve with it.
Right.
By staying informed, asking critical questions, and engaging in thoughtful discussions, we can shape the future of technology in a way that benefits everyone.
Right. I think we've done a pretty good job of exploring the potential impact and implications of Xmail. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to examine: the man behind it all,
Okay.
Elon Musk. Let's move on to part 3, where we'll delve into his track record, his communication style, and what all this might tell us about Xmail's future.
Okay, so we've covered the features, the potential market impact,
Right.
even the ethical considerations around AI. But you can't talk about Xmail without talking about Elon Musk himself, right?
You're absolutely right. He's not your typical tech CEO.
Right.
His personality and communication style are woven into everything he does. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
He just casually throws out a tweet about launching a potential Gmail competitor.
Right.
The YouTube video we watched highlighted how he loves to drop these bombshells on social media.
It's part of what makes him so fascinating.
Yeah.
He's a master of grabbing attention and generating buzz. It's like a constant PR campaign,
Right.
but fueled by his own persona.
But is it all just hype?
Well,
He's definitely shaken up industries before with Tesla and SpaceX. Could he do the same with email?
it's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
He has a track record of disrupting established markets, but email is so deeply ingrained in our lives,
Right.
both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's not something people change easily.
And plus, some people see him as more of a showman
Right.
than a serious tech innovator.
There's definitely a perception that he overpromises and underdelivers sometimes,
Yeah.
but you can't deny his accomplishments. He's achieved things many thought were impossible, so
Yeah.
it's a mixed bag.
So how do we, as informed consumers, separate the hype from the reality?
Right.
When it comes to Xmail, how do we evaluate its potential without getting swept up in the Elon Musk whirlwind?
I think it comes down to focusing on the substance.
Okay.
Look beyond the headlines and the tweets.
Right?
What are the actual features? What problems is Xmail trips to solve? How does it compare to existing solutions?
And maybe maintain a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly.
Don't just take every tweet or announcement as gospel truth.
Don't buy into the hype blindly.
Yeah.
Do your own research, ask critical questions,
Right.
and form your own conclusions.
Okay, let's do that. Let's put on our critical thinking hats and look at what we know about Xmail. So far, we have simplicity, privacy, X-platform integration, and AI. Are these genuinely innovative or just repackaged versions of what we already have?
Well, the simplified interface is a definite departure from Gmail's complexity, and the emphasis on privacy with the potential for end-to-end encryption and a subscription model is appealing to a growing segment of users who are concerned about data security and the ad-driven internet.
But we need to see how those features are actually implemented.
Right.
Is it truly more private? Is the subscription model viable in the long run? Those are key questions.
You're right. And what about the X platform integration? Is that a genuine benefit for users
Yeah.
or just a way to lock them into Musk's ecosystem?
It could be both. Couldn't it? Seamless communication across platforms is appealing, but there's also the potential for creating more digital clutter and distraction.
Exactly. It's
Mm.
a trade-off that users will have to consider. And then there's the AI aspect,
Right.
which is still the biggest wild card.
Right.
We have very little concrete information about how AI will be implemented in Xmail.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and imagine all sorts of futuristic AI features,
Right.
but we need to wait for concrete details before we can truly assess its potential impact.
I agree. There's a lot of potential for AI to improve our email experience, but also a lot of potential pitfalls.
Okay, so it sounds like there are still a lot of unknowns surrounding Xmail,
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No, not at all.
It keeps things interesting.
It definitely does, and it gives us all an opportunity to really think about what we want from email and what role we want technology to play in our lives.
So what's the main takeaway for our listener?
Okay,
What should they be doing right now amidst all this Xmail buzz?
don't panic.
Okay.
Xmail is still a work in progress. There's no need to rush out and switch email providers just yet.
Right.
But this is a good time to reflect on your own email habits and preferences.
Okay.
What do you value most in an email service?
Mm-hmm.
Simplicity, privacy, integration, AI features. Once you know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
you'll be better equipped to make an informed decision when the time comes.
And in the meantime, remember what we discussed. Be wary of the hype. Don't believe everything you read online. Do your own research. Ask questions. And form your own conclusions.
Absolutely. And remember, technology is constantly evolving. Xmail is just one piece of the puzzle. The future of email is still being written.
Right.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It looks like we've reached the end of our Xmail deep dive. We've explored the features, the potential impact, the ethical questions, and even the role of Elon Musk himself. But the conversation doesn't end here. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep shaping the future of technology in a way that benefits you and everyone else.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And we'll catch you on the next one.